All right, good morning once again, everyone. This is Mike Montefusco, Weather Service, Wakefield, Virginia. This is our special Friday morning weather briefing outlining the severe weather threat for the weekend ahead. We'll be updating this briefing once again online this afternoon as usual, and then we'll have another briefing later on as we get into early next week. So let's go ahead and talk about the severe weather threat as we get into the upcoming weekend. We do have some showers that are ongoing along the coast that will continue into the afternoon and perhaps into the early evening hours, mainly. Again, Maryland Eastern Shore at this point this morning. That'll continue along the coast next couple of hours. Otherwise, generally, it could have a few thunderstorms develop well inland over the Piedmont, maybe west of I-95 today. Otherwise, we are looking at a more unsettled pattern that is starting to take shape as we get into the upcoming weekend with scattered showers and storms getting fired up as we get into the day tomorrow. And then once again, as we get into Sunday, and we'll time that out for you as best we can in the next couple of slides. A few of those storms could be strong to severe given the setup that we have. Damaging winds do look to be the main threat at this time. We'll talk about the marine at this point, but looking generally a bit calmer. Sub-advisory conditions persist through the upcoming weekend outside of any showers, stronger showers and storms. So here's our weather pattern as we get into the next couple of days. We are in a generally low amplitude trophy pattern, so we are going to be looking at a few short waves moving through the region, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Today, we are a bit ahead of the front. We have a weak low pressure that'll generally lift along the coast through the day here into this evening. Again, increasing that chance of some showers continuing mainly along the coast for much of today. Tonight, you might have a couple of showers as this weather system from the west approaches. A good portion of our area should remain dry for today. Tomorrow, we are looking at a couple of windows for showers to move through. First, early on in the morning, and then as we get into the afternoon and evening, we have a cold front that'll be approaching from the west, and we have a bit of a lee trough just ahead of the front that'll be setting up and will likely result in some showers and storms firing up as we get into the afternoon and evening. But timing is a little bit problematic with that, and we'll be getting into the reasons why in just a moment here. Sunday, a little bit more, mechanically a better chance as that front drops on through. So the forcing might be a little bit better, and we have a better forcing mechanism for more showers and storms on Sunday. So we'll be watching that as well. We'll show you the timing on that. Monday we dry out a bit out ahead of the next system, which crosses on Tuesday. So the west activity looks to move through on Monday. So Monday we dry out a good portion of the area on Monday, and then on Tuesday we bring some more showers in with another front moving through. So a rather unsettled period as we get into the next couple of days here. So let's go ahead and look at the weekend planner. As you can see here, generally just kind of isolated showers today, better chances next couple of days. Now before I look at this severe weather potential, let's actually kind of plan this out here, bring in our upper pattern. And again, you can see it's kind of upper trophy as we kind of get into this is Saturday, 5 a.m. You can kind of see we have some disturbances kind of moving on through. And this is upper level disturbances that'll kind of set off additional showers and storms. We're already pretty well moistened up. We're getting a little bit more humid, as you can probably tell in the air looking around. And so we've got that moisture. We've got some instability. We need our short waves to kind of provide that spark to get those showers and storms fired up. And the issue with that is we are looking for some shortwave energy to cross into the morning tomorrow, which we are starting to see a little bit more of a signal for in our rapid update models that are really starting to show that as being an issue. And then some additional support kind of arrives as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow. Now, the ramifications of that are basically these. Let's go back in time here. So as we start the day on Saturday, this is right about 6 a.m. Saturday morning, we've got some showers moving in and some leftover convective activity from the west that'll kind of be moving through. And with those short waves, we will very easily have the potential for some showers to develop Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. You can see here, this is the herd depiction tomorrow morning, a triple R depiction tomorrow morning between 12Z or 8 a.m. And about noon. And these storms, as they kind of move across the area, if these do come to pass, that will kind of mess with the instability profile as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. So while it does have some additional showers and storms popping up, and again, as you get farther south, there'll be some issues with some stronger storms down that way, which is why the threat is a bit higher across the south. Those storms earlier on in the morning are a bit of a wild card, and if they do come to pass, we'll kind of lower the instability profile as we get into the afternoon, because we kind of have to get into the situation where we are able to get more storms for the afternoon and evening hours. So that will provide a little bit of an issue for more storms later on in the day, especially across the north. Now, as we get into Sunday, we are looking at a fairly similar profile where we have some basically some showers kind of overrunning that front. As that front drops into the area, those stronger storms will kind of initially kind of move across that front. And as that front drops on through and slowly stalls across the region, we'll have some additional showers and storms that kind of fire up as we get into Sunday, which is why I say, mechanically speaking, we are looking at a more widespread threat for Sunday as it appears right now. Let's go back to the briefing here and kind of run through the briefing here. As you look through it again today, I think for the most part, a good portion of the area does stay dry. We do have a general thunderstorm risk across the I-95 corridor. That marginal 1 out of 5 risk does technically kind of nudge into our far western portions. So US 15 area from Louisa County down towards Farmville, Cumberland counties. This far western portion could get into some showers later on today after 3-4 o'clock. It wouldn't surprise me to see some statements, perhaps a warning or two well out here late this afternoon into this evening. Tomorrow, we are watching, again, a scattered strong to severe threat for tomorrow. Across the north, it's a little bit muted. And a little bit more uncertain, again, because of that threat in the morning. We are looking for some showers and storms developing, moving across the area in the morning, which will kind of lower the profile a bit as we get into the afternoon. Farther south, figure 64 south especially, and even into the peninsulas, we are watching for that potential for some scattered strong to severe storms. Now, again, the onshore flow along the coast will kind of mess with the profile a little bit along the immediate coast, so we are kind of watching that as well. But again, it's more of a scattered threat tomorrow. And I think damaging winds would be the main threat with these. As we get into Sunday, again, the area is a little bit more limited, but I do think the threat is a little bit more widespread for the whole area in terms of, I think, in the northwest, we're looking at more of a heavy rain threat. Up this way, you might see the ERO kind of start to mention this up this way for as we get on into the weekend here. At the very minimum, I think you are going to start to see us mention a little bit more in the way of heavy rain potential up there. We do have a slide for that momentarily that you'll see. But down here across the southeast, we are looking for the potential for some stronger storms as well on Sunday as that front drops on through. Again, winds would be the main threat. Can't completely rule out some larger hail, but I think damaging winds would be the main threat for both days. This is for Saturday. Again, you're kind of looking at 2 to 10 being the main likely timing. Farther north, it'd be earlier on in the day. Down this way across the southeast, it'd probably likely be later on. Again, I think along the coast will be a little bit problematic because we'll have a bit of an onshore flow component, which will kind of stabilize things along the immediate coast. But again, I think in terms of storm potential, a good portion of our area could see a stronger storm or two. I don't think the entire area gets into them tomorrow. But again, I think on a scattered basis, more hit or miss basis, if you will, I think this potential is there for a good portion of the southern half of the area for tomorrow, mainly the later afternoon, I'd say after after 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, more likely in the later afternoon and evening hours, timing wise, for much of this slight risk area. And then as we get into the threats again, you're looking at damaging winds being the main threat for this. There's a muted threat for severe hail, but I think damaging winds is the main issue. With respect to Sunday, I think, again, it's kind of a late day, evening type of threat. Again, across the north, I think you're looking more of a heavy rain threat at this point. Across the far southeast, it'd be more of a damaging wind threat as the front kind of moves on through. So I think at that point, you're kind of watching for scattered to numerous showers and storms developing. I think it'll be more widespread in terms of aerial coverage of showers and storms. But in terms of the severity of storms, we're going to have to see how widespread those storms get as we get into Sunday, because that front will be slowing down. So as you have in here, our confidence is moderate in terms of the overall coverage, but the timing, again, later on in the afternoon and evening hours is what we're thinking, with wind gusts being the main threat. Smaller chance for hail, but non-zero. In terms of precipitation, again, you're kind of honing in, as you can see on the graphic here, into the late afternoon, evening hours, both on Saturday and Sunday. A little bit more of a wider goalpost, if you will, with respect to the precipitation timing. Kind of goes a little bit later in the day on Sunday, because we do have that front kind of moving on through. But we do have the probability of thunder here both days, Saturday and Sunday, because we are watching for those scattered storms to move through. Again, on a more hit or miss basis, I don't think it's as widespread, but it will be. There will be storms around both days. In terms of storm timing, we kind of tried to plan in some cities across the region here. Again, you can kind of see the best storm timing in here later afternoon into the evening hours for both days. I think, again, it kind of goes a little bit later on Sunday, because we do have that front in the area kind of sticking in the area and kind of stalling out over the region. So I think your best thunderstorm timing is basically late afternoon, evening, both days. But that kind of goes a little bit later, Sunday into Monday. Rain totals through the next 72. Again, this is our latest forecast through Monday, 8 a.m. A little bit lower QPF back into the west, but I think for the most part, once you get under one of these showers, we have the potential for some locally heavy rainfall with these, which is how we have this graphic here. Now, in terms of this graphic, this is not to say the entire area is going to receive this much rainfall. What this graphic is actually speaking to is that if you're getting under one of those heavier storms, especially up in the northwest, Sunday, you have the potential for some pretty heavy rainfall. So any of those scattered storms that do pop up and move across, especially this area where the front kind of slows on down, this area is liable to get into some pretty heavy rainfall as we get into the day on Sunday. So kind of watch out for that potential on Sunday. Across the southeast, again, more hit or miss variety with those storms both days, Saturday and Sunday. Again, locally heavier rainfall is a concern, especially in our urban areas. Not a widespread flood risk at this time, but certainly once you get under one of those storms, there is the potential for some stronger downpours with those storms as they move on through. Kind of rolling through the highs and lows here. Next couple of days, we're actually out of the much cooler phase with respect to the temperatures. We are going to be staying really rather seasonable for the next week or so in terms of temperatures, generally kind of hanging in the 80s for most of the area. While on the immediate coast, you'll get some 70s with that onshore flow. So you start to see that kind of reflected along the immediate coast there from Norfolk, Cape Charles, Ocean City areas, Tappahannock, Virginia Beach, those areas along the coast where that northeast wind kind of keeps us a little bit cooler with that onshore flow. But for a good portion of the area, we're a little bit warmer. We're kind of seasonable for the next week or so. Temperature wise, minimum temperature wise, kind of similar for our lows, kind of hanging right around 70 along the coast with that onshore flow right off the water. A little bit cooler inland back into the 60s for overnight lows. And again, those temperatures those pops once again, kind of hanging in the afternoon, both days on Sunday and Monday. A little bit drier, drying out a little bit briefly on Monday before we get onset. We get more into an unsettled pattern once again Tuesday into Wednesday, where our showers move back in as we get into Tuesday. Rip current risk is going to be low today. Bit of a moderate risk tomorrow with that onshore flow starting to redevelop. So that moderate rip risk kind of returns as you get into the day tomorrow. Otherwise, for the northern beaches, otherwise a little bit lower risk across the south, and then a low rip risk for all beaches on Sunday. Tropical weather is thankfully quiet at this time. Nothing expected in the near future. We are kind of keeping an eye on things right at this point, as you'd expect, but nothing of note at this time, luckily enough. In terms of the outlook, again, staying near to above normal through the next 8 to 14 day outlook, as you see here. Precip wise, we are near to above precip outlook as well, simply because we are again kind of getting into a bit of more of an unsettled pattern as we get through the next week or so. In terms of the marine side, generally quiet as we get through the next several days here through the weekend at the very minimum. A little bit of a building sea situation where we might have some seas kind of maxing out around 5-6 feet across the outer markers of our northern waters. Otherwise, generally remaining below small craft thresholds over the next several days. Next chance for more widespread small craft as we get into the day on Tuesday with that next front moving through. Again, the maximum wind gust, you'll kind of see that onshore flow next little bit here through the evening hours here tonight and into the day tomorrow. Then we gradually start to turn those winds around as we get into early next week. And then the wind summary that you can see there, kind of remaining kind of an onshore flow next little bit here the next couple of days, and then the winds kind of turn back offshore again as we get into the day on Monday, but remaining below small craft thresholds throughout. And our wave heights once again remaining below thresholds. We might again our outer waters might start to pop right around 5-6 feet at times, but I think for the most part we'll remain below small craft criteria throughout the period for this area. That is it for our briefing. We will have the latest thoughts in our 3 p.m. briefing that'll update online at the link that you see there. Otherwise, thank you all for dialing in this morning and participating in our briefing. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer them, and have a great weekend.